back to another episode of BHHS TV News from Home. I'm your host, Chloe Modak. We have a very fun-filled show for you guys tonight, so let's get right into the news. Winter is here. I know, I hate it too, but with these cold nights approaching, it's important to learn how to stay safe. Here's Donna with some tips and tricks this season.
Hi, my name's Donna. I'm going to be giving some tips and tricks for the cold weather coming up in Michigan and the cold weather that's already here. Throughout the video, I will be giving some video examples of how weather has been looking lately. These are all on separate days, but some of the weather looks the same. These upcoming videos were taken on December 10th, where the weather was pretty cloudy, but it was still warm out. This was taken only a few days later, and though it looks the exact same, today was actually 30 degrees, causing it to be very cold. My first tip is to stay dry. A lot of times when it is cold and wet out, we don't notice how cold it really is because we are wearing thick material, but still, snow can get through and you can get very cold very fast. So bringing a towel or taking breaks from the cold can really help with that. This was taken on December 9th. We're already in winter and it's supposed to be very cold out, but this was a sunny and warm day. Today we didn't have to worry about being cold, but wear a light jacket just in case. These upcoming videos are showing to look so different because of the weather. This video was taken only 2 days after a snowstorm. Here are some more tips from CNN.com about what to wear during the cold weather. This includes boots, gloves, and hats. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Donna. With COVID-19, staying at home can get pretty old pretty fast. Need an activity? What about a movie marathon? Here's Wade with some holiday movie reviews.
Hey Blackhawks, how are you? Today we have a very special treat for you in this Christmas edition movie review list. Today we will go through 5 movies, one of which at least I can assure hold a nostalgia candle to each and every single one of you out there. Starting with everybody's favorite Whoville villain, How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000. While many see The Grinch as a playful spin on the writing of Dr. Seuss's short children's novel, many tend to ignore the deeper meanings behind the societal issues that The Grinch is commenting on. As Jim Carrey states,
"The avarice never ends! I want golf clubs, I want diamonds, I want a pony so I can ride it twice, get bored, and sell it to make glue! Look, I don't want to make waves, but this whole Christmas season is stupid, stupid, stupid!"
Many hear this monologue and chuckle at the informal way in which the Grinch is speaking, in contrast with the tidy, rhyme-centered lines of the original book. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a detailed critique of American consumerism, and at the end of the film we see that although Whoville had a Christmas without presents or gifts, Christmas as a whole is about more than taking what you can get. Christmas is about the importance of family as well as the spread of joy throughout your community, and those who perceive Christmas as a way to have more objective items are simply missing the point. Overall, the film has creative cinematography which captures the feeling of a Dr. Seuss book and is filled with hilarious one-liners, both written and improvised by Jim Carrey. The supporting cast does a good job, especially considering the goofy tone of this movie, and therefore I give the film a 9 out of 10 and stamp it a Christmas classic. The Santa Claus. The Santa Claus is a controversial Christmas film. While many who grew up watching this Tim Allen classic find this movie to be something of a masterpiece, but those who hold little sentimental value for this movie may have trouble latching onto this film. I watched the movie the first time a week ago with my family, and from my unbiased perspective, I can say that this film, unfortunately, does not hold up in my opinion. Tim Allen is a lovable actor in the roles he plays, and he even has a couple funny lines in this film. However, these moments are overshadowed with plot holes, contradictions, and straight-up awkward scenes.
Thank you, Wade. Let's check in with one of our amazing teachers, Miss Riley, for some fun, fast facts. Navina?
Thank you, Chloe. Hello and welcome to 3 Fun Facts with Miss Riley.
Welcome to the first fun fact on Miss Riley.
I think the first fun fact that I would share is that I'm left-handed. And while that is not necessarily the fun fact, my brother is also left-handed. My husband is left-handed. His brother is left-handed. And now our daughter, Nora, is left-handed. but my parents and my husband's parents are all right-handed. So we're not exactly sure except one of those recessive gene things, that all of the kids are left-handed and the parents are all right-handed.
Fun fact number 2.
I was in show choir in high school. I went to an all-girls high school in Farmington. I went to Mercy, and they had a show choir, and my mom sings so well and so effortlessly that I just kind of stuck to the piano most of my life. So when I was in high school and I told my family at the end of my sophomore year I was auditioning for show choir, they were all a little shocked because I hadn't been singing at home at all. But I made show choir, and it was called the Merciers, and it was really like 2 of the best years of high school. Was in a really tight group of like 20 girls, and we went to camp each summer and learned all of our choreography and all of our songs in 1 week at camp, and like occasionally added different things throughout the year. But the core of our stuff we learned at like boot camp essentially in the summer. So yeah, show choir. It was a lot of fun.
Fun fact number 3.
In college, I played the steel drum, and I came about that very randomly. I've always played the piano, and I played the oboe, and sang. And then in college, I heard about the 2 groups. We had an African drumming ensemble, and we had a steel drum ensemble that were relatively new at the time. And so after having world music history, I decided I wanted to try steel drum. So joined it. I was in it for 3 years. It's actually some of the best time I had learning music because we had to learn very differently. My professor was very, very clear to teach us in the way that they would have learned traditionally, which is by rote. No one really looks at the music. So we never were handed music until all of us had already learned the piece of music on our drum. And it was really cool to watch because I knew I was going to into education at the time. So it was really fun for me to watch how he taught every single person in the class differently based on their strengths and how they would learn it better. So he taught everything by rote. I happened to pick things up quickly because if I watched the pattern that he was drumming in, I could memorize it better. So he would come to me and usually teach me first, and then I could help the other 2 people in my section. And then he taught other people like very broken down. And it was really cool to watch as a future educator, but also just to watch that traditional, the traditional way to learn the music. So we'd all learn this incredibly long piece, and then he'd hand us the music so we could reference later. It was a lot of fun. And we did Christmas shows, and we toured with them, and it's some of the best fun I had in college.
Hope you enjoyed. Now back to you, Chloe.
Love to see it, Navina. The Grammy nomination process this year has recently been under flames after many fans were unhappy with the nomination process. Here's Sammy with everything you need to know about this year's awards.
Hey there, Sammy Kukuru here, and I'm currently reporting from the home studio. The holiday season is already upon us, which can only mean that the award season is not far behind it. Although there has been some messy scheduling due to COVID-19, I think it's safe to say that this recent controversy surrounding the Grammy nomination process has been making waves in the entertainment and music industry. It all started when pop sensation The Weeknd took to social media calling the Grammys corrupt after being snubbed from this year's nomination list, despite breaking the record for most consecutive weeks at #1 on the radio charts and having one of the best-selling weeks of 2020 with his full-length LP, After Hours. There's no argument that After Hours was one of the staple albums to come out of 2020. In fact, The Weeknd even explained that he was potentially going to perform at this year's Super Bowl halftime show, which I think says enough about the album's quality. Many other artists took to social media to share their grievances with the Grammy nomination committee this year, such as contemporary stars like Drake, Halsey, and Justin Bieber, but also musical icon and 34-time Grammy nominee Elton John even had a few things to say about this year's nominations. Amid the drama, Harvey Mason Jr., the CEO and president of the Recording Academy, defended the nomination process and assured listeners that the nominees are selected carefully and thoughtfully. He stated, "We review every bit of music that is submitted. I personally wish we could give everybody a nomination, but there are only a certain amount of slots. There were some amazing records that did not get nominated." So what do you think? Do you think that The Weeknd was snubbed? I personally think that he deserved multiple nominations in the 4 main categories, and I hope that issues like this get straightened out in the future. That's all for me here at the home studio. Let's take it back to Chloe.
Thanks, Sammy. The COVID-19 pandemic is leaving everyone stressed, confused, and worried about their future. Managing things online can be frustrating, especially with technology. Evan will guide you through it. Take it away.
Thank you, Chloe. Today I'm going to tell you 5 tips to help students like you become better in the online learning model. Let's start with tip number 1. Try to have your phone away from you while you're in class to help you focus so you aren't looking at notifications while trying to take notes. Let's move along with our second tip. Make sure to manage your time wisely by making a schedule for yourself to do assignments, and don't wait for the last minute to do your assignments. Let's keep moving with number 3. Don't be afraid to ask questions to straighten out any information that may confuse you. Your classmates may have the same questions. Tip number 4, make sure to have a positive attitude when doing something out of your comfort zone. Finally, tip number 5, during passing time, take a break from your working environment by taking a walk around your house to get some exercise. To conclude, by following these 5 tips, you may become a more organized, successful, and responsible learner. For BHS-TV News, I'm Evan Katz, and back to you, Chloe, in the studio.
Great stuff, Evan. Who doesn't love music? Especially in our circumstances right now, music is bringing everyone together. One of my favorites, here's Angel with The Billboards.
Despite the inconsistencies throughout this year, one of the biggest parts of 2020 that really kept a feeling of normalcy was music. Despite the lack of gatherings, of concerts, or award shows, artists this year still consistently worked to put out music this year. Whether it be music they had been working on previously or things that they started during quarantine. On November 30th, 2020, Billboard released their Hot 100 chart for the week, which is the music industry standard record chart in the US that's based on sales, radio play, and online streaming. The chart of that week featured BTS's Life Goes On and Dynamite at number 1 and 3. The day marked as a historical event in the Western music industry, due to Life Goes On being the first number 1 that's a predominantly non-English song in Billboard's 62-year span. Alongside BTS, the charts also features Mood by 24K Golden featuring Ian Dior, Positions by Ariana Grande, and other tracks by Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, Chance the Rapper, The Weeknd, and more.
That concludes this week's broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great break and happy holidays.